guys, my name is Lelasophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things interiors, then I have some fun videos for you. You guys, I have been promising this for 6 months. It has literally been, actually this is a perfect week to do this. It has been 6 months this week that I purchased my first apartment here in New York City. I've really only given you a little kind of glimpse in because honestly, it took me 6 months to get everything painted, to get all the little things that were irking me, like the light fixtures that were here since the 70s, probably even earlier. There was a lot to be done, needless to say. I feel like I'm in a really good place. I don't know, I guess like all interior lovers, I'm not a designer in any way, but like all interior lovers, it's probably never gonna be done, but I feel like I'm in a good enough place where I'm so excited to share with you all of my little updates. But first and foremost, if you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at lelasophia jewelry. I put up videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and so I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. You guys, okay. It has been this week exactly 6 months, actually maybe 1 week after, but 6 months plus 1 week since I moved into my first home here in New York City. Just the tiny little spiel. I purchased my apartment November 2nd, technically, of the 2023. So this, you know, it's been within this year, but of last year, technically. So it's been exactly 6 months since I've been here. I just felt it in my soul. This is just the most perfect home for me. Hopefully maybe even just like forever, to be really honest. I know it's crazy to think about that, but I was in my previous apartment downtown that I rented in New York City in Soho for 11 years plus some months. And so I'm one of those. I really like to put down roots. This has been one of the most significant things I've ever done in my life, and it just feels so right. And it's taught me so many amazing, beautiful, like not to get into this, but it's just taught me so many spiritual lessons. Like when something is meant to be, you can't jinx it. Like there's nothing bad, you know what I mean? It's like things that are meant to be will be in your life. You can't wish them away. You can't be too nervous or too anxious. They will be there when they're meant to be, the exact way that they're meant to be. And this home has taught me that like 100-fold, 10,000 times fold. It has been the most beautiful blessing ever. And I know that I have not shared a lot because it takes me a little while, first of all, to even just like invite people into my home, but also I wanted it to be to a level that felt like me before I showed it more, especially even like, thank you guys for, oh my God, I've been meaning to say this. Thank you for your patience with my more so like outfit pics or, you know, longer full body pics because you know, it's New York, and so I have a small space, but I also just wanted there to be a nice enough background for you to see that, and it's been kind of a total mess for several months, and so I feel like especially this, like literally this last 3-ish weeks, every single inch of my apartment now I have painted myself, except for there's like a little part over my stairs that I don't know how somebody even managed to reach with a thing. Anyway, so there's a little part over my stairs. Otherwise, I've painted everything myself. And now I feel like home. I got a new couch. I didn't even get that many new things, but just like the color palette, you know, all the interior things that I really had envisioned for my home, I think are finally coming to life. You guys do see a new background. There was a whole, my mom has seen it all to this point. I think like people think I'm an organizer to an nth degree, and then when you see the process, it's like a little bit intensive. And so I did rearrange my living room like probably 6 times over the last, I know my mom is smiling and rolling her eyes because it could not be more true, over the last week. And so I didn't think about this, but I'd landed on my actual little, you know, bag display setup, not on the opposite wall of my brick. So you guys are not going to see the brick in my everyday videos, but don't worry, you're going to see it still. So we have my cute little room divider instead. But I thought how fun to take you through just some, you know, videos. Everything is not done yet, so it's hard for me to even show it now, but I figure I'm growing up, you know, I'm trying to show more of the process. I'm so sorry. I think I probably did try to show some more process. I showed the process a little bit of painting the brick. It just is not me to be like in sweats in my glasses looking crazy and painting and filming and worrying about my dog and all these things. And so you're just gonna get the after. And so I'm really sorry. I'll work my way up to that. Don't worry, there will be many projects in the future. And so let's start with my, I think it's my favorite room. Let's go ahead and say that. My living room, okay. The general feel of my entire apartment, I think, has 3 voices. I think I wanted coming into it, but I didn't know exactly how to do, and I think I've done it in kind of a cool way. We know me, we know that Axel Favort happened. Yes, I know, he's kind of like the word on the name on everybody's mouth these days. I know he's doing a massive project for Kim Kardashian, and so I obviously he did her entire house prior, but he's doing like the real him version of her beach house now. So I wonder if we're gonna see any of that. So actually this is perfect. I can put out my my little updates before we see, like, to make it known that I did not copy whatever her house is about to look like, I promise. My previous apartment in Soho was very much so Axel Favort. But I think I had this vision. I definitely took a lot of elements from him, but I also really have been loving British countryside architecture, not just architecture and not just interiors, kind of the whole thing. Like, oh my God, a cottage in like, oh my God, English countryside one day in Wales, in Ireland, I don't even care. Like British countryside interiors, exteriors, just the grounds, the gardens. I don't know. I always say I should be studied because this is just such a random thing for me to say, but it's really true. I'm half Moroccan and half British. My mom is primarily Irish and Scottish, but primarily Irish and Scottish and English. But when I tell you, there has to be something to that, because in my soul, I love Moroccan architecture and I love British countryside architecture. And it's just me. I just feel that way. And so the amount of house and gardens, the amount of the world of interiors videos and images I've looked at is kind of insane. But Axel Favort also has a lot of that countryside feel in his work as well. And so I think this project for me, but yes, it's my project, my own home, which is kind of blurring of the lines, but this project for me was truly about wanting to create different areas, even within a small New York City apartment. I do have 2 floors, which makes it completely, like, just completely different, you know, than my previous apartment, which was just a 2-bedroom, one level apartment. Having 2 floors is a game changer because it means that you can have different vibes per floor. And so hence, therefore, with my living room, which I'll get to the 3rd inspo, don't worry, it's coming kind of, I think, in my bedroom more so, but in my living room, I actually was thinking maybe to reverse these 2 things. I wanted to have an area that felt really light because in my last apartment, again, for my entire 20s, I had zero, like when I tell you 0 natural sunlight, people thought I was joking until they came over to my house. None. I literally looked onto a garbage alleyway of the restaurant La Pecora Bianca. And prior to that, Delicatessen, if you know, you know, in New York City, people who have been to my apartment know it was a cave. Literally, I've had people tell me cave vibes, you know what I mean? It's like recording studio vibes. Ironic because yes, I'm originally a musician, so it was used for that for a long time. And I got so used to it. And then I think as I got older, I was like, some sunlight would be nice. And especially the more crowded Soho got, I think I started going a little bit crazy with having absolutely 0 natural sunlight. And so even though my apartment, my living room is technically north facing, that is enough for me. You have no idea. Literally my first day, like living here technically, I was like, oh my God, it's okay that I can't even see the sun directly. Like I have light, I have daylight. My apartment light changes, like only in New York City problems, most likely, but that was a game changer to me. And my living room previously was the one that was darker and my bedroom was lighter. But the natural light said, no, we're gonna reverse that. And so in my living room, I actually went really light and airy. I previously joked and said like, this is the cliche, you know, Instagram worthy lime wash. I've lime washed every single area of my apartment except for my entryway foyer because again, this is a very, very, technically it's actually 2 brownstones that have been converted into 1. So the original building is like over 100 years old, but the converted aspect of it is 50 years old. It was converted in the 70s. And so, you know, we work with it, but the ceiling is like a ladder. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not lime washing that. It would look horrendous. My living room and my bedroom, I knew that I could. And so I started off with the brick because I was, again, it's me, you know, factoring in all those, it sounds stupid that I'm explaining my organization and my, you know, visualization, but you can see how it goes into the process. Exposed brick, I know everybody was freaking out, but the second I walked into the apartment on my first tour, I said, I've always wanted white brick. Everybody always wants exposed brick, but white brick to me does something to my soul. So that was the first thing that I did. I took my time, I was restrained, and I said I need to lime wash the brick first and then see what color can offset it. And that was the best decision, like honestly, because I actually went with 4 different color palettes so far. I'm hopefully, God willing, one day I can redo my kitchen and redo my bathroom. So those spaces I'm not gonna show you, even though actually the entryway bathroom I will show you because it's actually really adorable and it has a story with it. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So long story short, when I painted the brick, I said, okay, we're going light. We're going light, we're going airy. And I used Vasari lime wash in my living room and my bedroom. And I was so like, you guys know me. I'm so anti-trend that it even extends to paint colors. I was like, oh, everybody uses this color called Fossil. And then I finally I like submitted because I was like, this looks like kind of the best color ever. It is the best color ever. If you just want that, like maybe I'll think of it as a little cliche, but if you just want the cliche quintessential lime wash look, Fossil, I think it's Fossil 15, is that it? By Vasari, could not be more perfect. Could not be more perfect. And it took a while for me to do. Oh my God, I could not be more happy. Literally, my poor mom was coming over like every couple days. And like the process looks crazy when like there are patches of lime wash everywhere, but the finished product, she was like, okay, I get it now. I lime washed the entirety of the ceiling and the entirety of the entire, I guess it's actually only 3 walls because the brick I had already lime washed. The lime wash that I used for the brick is called Romabio or Romabio. I don't know which one it is. And it's the slightly off-white one. So it's a little bit off-white and I did it lightly. I'm looking at it now. I did it lightly so that like some of the brick, it's not like the color of the brick shows through, but you can see that it's still brick, and lime wash is actually the perfect thing to put over brick because I didn't know. Trust me, I've stained some t-shirts. Brick like literally stains and it gets dusty and it's kind of disgusting. And so putting a lime wash over it, lime wash, for those of you guys who don't know, is literal lime. It's literal limestone, just like crushed up very finely. And it's what painting was before acrylic paint was invented. And so literally like, think of old Italian, you know, anything, Italian restaurants, Italian homes. I was gonna say like castles, but like no, just like regular, you know, European architecture. Interiors often or mostly use lime wash paint, and it's done with a brush. You can actually trowel it on. You can actually even spray it on, but I like to hand paint it on. And I already had done a faux lime wash finish in my previous apartment, which I can do another video just totally on lime wash. I don't know if anybody's caring about this part or not. Totally understandable if not, but essentially I really like the hand painted pattern of it. It makes it feel super organic to me. And so what was my original point? Essentially the color Fossil 15 literally changed my entire like outlook on lime wash. It is like could not be more perfect. And it goes with my new couch that I got. It's the tiniest little couch ever, but when you're really sitting on it, it's actually so comfortable. It is like a game changer. And so I'm obsessed with the way that my living room is now. And the coolest thing is that in my madness of changing completely everything up, I actually now before I had a glass desk and I had a glass little side table, now everything is just essentially a different shade of wood, brown, as you can see, with a little bit of yellow thrown in there. And then my little faux flowers, which look very fake. I could probably get, you know, nicer faux flowers one day because we're not gonna be doing that yet in my life. I'm not to the level of buying new anthuriums every week. There are little pops of color, but other than that, it is very earthy. It is very Axel Vervoort. I was completely, very obviously inspired by him, especially his living room. And so that made a lot of sense to me. And what I was going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so disjointed in this video. This is why I love to do list videos. So we're getting there, bear with me. The coolest part is that I really have been, I just like felt for some reason the last 2-ish months, maybe even 3 months, because I really want this to be like a lifelong apartment, a very, very long-term apartment, which I know not a lot of young people think of as their first home, I do. I think that I just love New York City so much. I found the perfect spot. It's actually quiet. It's actually peaceful. It's so beautiful. You guys, I'll show you the gem of the entire apartment last. I know, again, I just feel like so incredibly blessed to have. It's really, really crazy. I'm aware. It was the #1 thing that I wanted in an apartment. But again, I'll show you that last. No spoilers. But I really wanted to have a setup for a guest or for several guests, especially, you know, my brother just moved. I was like, I mean, I guess my brother can say multiple other very probably nicer places than my apartment, but I have siblings, I have friends, whatever. Someone comes from out of town or family comes from out of town. I really wanted to have a setup for a guest. And I actually figured out the perfect, like my living room setup now is the perfect setup for me to just flip my couch. And this is why I just trust everything. I trust that everything happens exactly the way that it's meant to. That was really redundant, but I was debating for weeks on actually there was one that I really loved. And then this is how things happen. I almost ordered it and it was from a place in Canada. And then that one piece either sold out or got discontinued. And I was like, no. So I essentially copied this one day bed that I was obsessed with for like literally $800 less. I got just the most basic, it's probably like 4 kids, but I got the most basic, like literally just snap together real wood twin bed platform. And then I got a mattress that I can even roll up. So I now have the option of having an entire twin bed setup up here, which is so nice, but it's a little bit crowded for an everyday situation. And I really liked looking out on my windows every day. Again, it's just totally new for me. I know most people in other parts of the country who like have actual normal priced homes are probably like, what? New York is a literal horse of a different color. It's just not like anywhere else. I don't care what any list says. New York is insanity. And so it's a big deal for me to be able to look out on greenery every day. And so now I feel like I just have the perfect setup living room that I can easily and quite quickly really just change into a whole bedroom. And then my foyer I can talk about quickly because there is absolutely nothing exciting about it. My biggest goal, I'd say my 5-year goal, it might have to be my 10-year goal, I'm not sure, but my 5 to 10-year goal would be, I've been obsessed with the channel Never Too Small for a really long time, but especially in this context, like, okay, I figured it out. I want to reverse my kitchen. I think it's called a galley kitchen. Mom, you have to help me. I don't know. It's like just the most quintessential kind of stupid New York old kitchen that again has been the same probably for 50 years. The appliances are ridiculous. My butt hits everything at every angle. It's so infuriating. And so I really want to just turn the kitchen and put it all up against one wall. It would make my entire apartment so, oh my God, it just would make it so much more open and airier. Oh, it's gonna be so nice one day. Again, one day. For now, it's fine. And other than that, I literally just painted the foyer a really nice like mushroom color. I'll put the actual name of it because I can't, it's like called something Hampshire. Trust me, even though I bought like 3 bottles of it, I still can't remember the name. So that actually is really nice. And I moved my glass desk, which I still do really like in my living room. I like the concept of that. So you know, if it's changed again in 6 months, you'll know why. For now, it's actually really fine in the foyer area. And I actually really do use it as my desk when I carve my jewelry. The foyer is not exciting at all. Here's where everybody is gonna be, this is not even gonna be a split board. 80% of people are gonna hate this. Maybe 99% of people are gonna hate this. But I figured out, I again have a very awkward downstairs kind of entryway, kind of foyer, I guess one would say. But when you come down the stairs, there's a bathroom, a closet, and then my bedroom door. And I was like, okay, I wonder if I do play up the darkness of this area, because originally I was just going to paint it the same color as my upstairs foyer, which again, this is sounding really more complicated than it is. And I think I figured out a little while ago that like, if I close all the doors to that area, it can be like my little dressing room. Very Sex and the City, but also very British, more so British. It just feels like, okay, I have my closet there. I can just pop in and out of the bathroom. That feels really nice. And then I knew I was gonna paint my bedroom, which we'll get to in a second, a darker color. And I was laying in bed one day staring out at staring out at my dressing room. And I was like, I wonder if I radically go dark. There are 2, this is the most Axel Vivort inspired part. There are 2 projects, one at the Greenwich Hotel and one I'm actually not sure where, because he's done several galleries like this as well, that are like dark, dark, dark. And I was like, I wonder if that would be too crazy. The paint I got might have been like 3 shades too dark. It might be too dark. I'm so debating because a part of me thinks it looks really cool. Also, I didn't realize quite how much lime wash, like if you bump up against it before you seal it, it literally stains, it's like chalk kind of. And so that really is not fun. And so I either have to seal it or change it, but I'm just not sure yet. So I haven't done either, but it's like kind of a vibe. And I haven't finished the dark trims on it yet. I'm actually gonna use the same color that I painted the stairs and my little upstairs bathroom, which I forgot to talk about. Painted those little features in like a dark color. And I'm gonna probably do the trim. This is the one part that I would really love everybody. I mean, I would love everybody's opinion on every part, but like I need your help on this part. It's so crazy, but it's also kind of a vibe. And then it leads into the bedroom, which I'll get into. So anyways, that's the part that I'm like, literally twice a day. I'm like, oh, I love it. It's so cool. It's so innovative. It's so random. And then part of it, I'm like, this is insane. You need to paint it lighter. So I'm not sure about that, but quickly, my little upstairs bathroom, when I was growing up and my aunt lived in the city as well, literally her first bathroom, she had like the same exact setup yet opposite. She had a living room and then upstairs two little bedrooms. But the very first powder room, like right when you walk in the door, same thing with mine, right when you walk in my door, there's a powder room and it was black with a black toilet and a black sink. And I just, as a kid, and as like it never left me how cool I thought that powder room was. And I was always like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a black bathroom too. And obviously my color palette is just different for browns and neutrals. So I was like, I'm gonna do the darkest brown I can find with it still being acceptable. So I did a whole dark powder room, which people are probably like, what the heck? My stepdad came over and got so mad because he was like, you can't even find the light switch. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. It's just a vibe. It just makes me happy every time I go in it, which is, you know, all the time. And so I think it's kind of cool. I'm sure 99% of the people are, when they come over, are gonna be like, I can't see a thing. You need to paint that bathroom. It just reminds me of her, but in my own way. I don't know. It's just like the stupidest little thing, but I also really am kind of obsessed with it. So that's also a play on my downstairs anyways. Yada, yada, yada. The bedroom is the part that I also need your help with one thing. The walls were a struggle for like at least a month. I was like, why did I pick this color? This is horrible. I picked a color called Sumatra by Vasari. And I don't know why. I have something against reading instructions. Like I sometimes can be like kind of a complete idiot and think that I know everything and just do it myself. I'd done so much lime wash painting before. Every lime wash company is different, okay? So the first pass looked horrible because I diluted it with water. Some of them you literally need to dilute with water. Some you have to spray the walls. Vasari, absolutely not. And so after I actually did it right, literally only this week, I was like, I know, okay, thank God I picked this color for a reason. It is such a vibe. I know most people are gonna be like, okay, this is crazy, but because it literally is the basement of the building, it's dark anyway, so it's really playing into that cave vibes. And I always really liked waking up in like an all white bedroom before, but I also, in my previous apartment, I would love even more going into my living room. So I was like, wait, why don't I just do that in my bedroom? It will be really calm, very serene, and it literally is that. And this is the part that I think is inspired the most by my Moroccan heritage. It feels so Moroccan to me. I was debating between a color literally called Sahara or this color called Sumatra, but the Sumatra just looked like, it just looked so ancient inspired to me. It's a color that like you can't even pinpoint in today's world. It's literally like old mud buildings. And I'm obsessed with it. There's a really cool Amazigh town in Morocco that it looks so similar to. You could just imagine like waking up there. Anyway, it's really not that exciting. I just have a really cool, actually my original, if you guys will remember, my original bag cabinet down there with like a very, I get probably cliche, like several foo dogs or foo lions. Here, it's definitely like, I kind of just flipped everything. Like upstairs is so wabi-sabi that then I wanted to add little elements of British countryside so that everything was infused together and it didn't feel disjointed. But then downstairs in something that was so dark, so moody, I added more of the really beautiful, oh my God, like this pair from my grandparents that I'm so grateful to have that are all foo lions or foo dogs from different countries in Asia. And so that's really cool. The one for my grandparents is a Japanese pair that like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I have them and it makes me think of them every time. So, you know, there's elements elements of everything so that it doesn't feel super disjointed. But the question is, before we get to the best part of the entire apartment, the question is, do I keep my bedding white? Or because sometimes I have smart moments, I realize that I have like my entire bed frame. I have the soft frame bed, which is essentially the dupe of the cloud bed. But I realize if I put a fitted sheet over my headboard, and then I get one of those because, listen, I'm not gonna pay $1,000 for a bed cover at this moment in my life, but if I get a king-sized fitted cover and then king-size just like fitted sheet, I can essentially like completely dupe one of those really cool bed covers. We know what I'm talking about. Those are amazing. Again, I just wouldn't want to pay $1,000 for that yet. Maybe we'll get there. Something that is literally just for show that then you take off every night. You know, we're getting there. But I can completely change the color of my bed. I just don't know if that's like so dark that it's gonna be depressing, or if it would make it even cooler and be like the accent, the perfect cherry on top. That I need your help with, everybody. But then the best part is that because it's kind of the downstairs I made very cave-like, very den-like, it leads out into my own private garden, which I know. Literally, I scoured all of New York City, every borough, except for Staten Island, but you know, if you know, you know, every borough in New Jersey for a garden, okay? For years. And this just was the perfect one. And we actually have like a shared garden up top, so it's really the whole backyard. But my own little private one. Actually, again, this is why things are meant to be. One of my walls that was previously built in had to get taken down because, you know, again, New York code things. And it was the perfect thing to happen because I ended up getting like the most beautiful faux boxwood wall. And I like totally want one for my other side now. It's so pretty. I'm obsessed with it, and waking up to that every morning in such like a cozy den-like place, looking out onto a garden with actual greenery is like literally, I just, you know, I know this is gonna sound so stupid, but like really, dreams actually do come true if you really put enough energy into them. You know, like we can get into that in a whole different video, truly, but like it was a literal dream of mine. And so I just feel so blessed. And so my little garden really hasn't changed much except for that faux boxwood wall, which I think actually looks really nice. But come like having people over, having little like, I don't know, soirees down there, it'll probably just be like me and my mom at the end of the day. But there are little setups where I could like put a vase of flowers, put a little cushion. I do have little like pillows that I put out there because I just can't be bothered yet with getting like a whole new cushion set up, but it is so cozy. Ricky, I think at some point I'll be ready to like put some trees, put some flowers, but for now I'm scared that I want to keep them alive. So we'll figure out the perfect like actual life to put out there. But for now, like, oh my God, it is just such a blessing. And I think it's a really cool juxtaposition of having the lighter areas upstairs, but then all the darker areas leading out to like the naturally light area. Don't know. That's my home update. I am not the best at describing things because I just go into very detailed stories. So if you watch this long, you're amazing, and I can't wait to hear any questions. What does everybody think I could have done better or I could improve upon? Do we like it? Honestly, like some of the biggest improvements were even just like the stupid doorknobs, which were, oh my God, ugly to the nth degree. The ceiling fan light, oh my God, like even as soon as those were done, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Those are also renter-friendly hacks. I know lime washing is definitely not renter. I mean, maybe it is, but like it is kind of hard to get off to sand it. So I would faux lime wash if you want to do anything. But things like literally changing light fixtures, changing doorknobs are the easiest things to do ever. And those actually made like the most immediate, best difference. And so far I'm pretty obsessed, especially with the places that feel really, really done. I'm just super, super grateful. I'm so grateful to be able to share this with you guys, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye guys.